Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Thomas Forrester has always been one of the most complicated characters on The Bold and the Beautiful, and right now, fans are asking themselves a huge question. Has Thomas really let go of that long-standing grudge he held against Brooke Logan, or is he just lying in wait, planning his next vengeful strike when the timing is perfect? When you consider Thomas's history, his mindset, and the current storyline unfolding around him, the answer isn't nearly as clear-cut as some might hope. Thomas has shown he can change, but he's also proven that his darker impulses rarely stay buried for long. So is he truly reformed, or is the old Thomas quietly making a comeback in ways no one has noticed yet? Brooke has always been in Thomas's line of fire for one reason or another. She was vocal about her distrust of him during his obsession with Hope, and she's never fully hidden her doubts that Thomas could ever be the man that Hope or anyone else deserves. Brooke has pushed Ridge to keep his eyes open and protect Hope from what she saw as dangerous manipulation. That left Thomas constantly feeling judged, dismissed, and painted as someone incapable of redemption. For someone like Thomas, who thrives on proving himself, Brooke's lack of faith cut deeply. It wasn't just about Brooke standing in the way of his relationship with Hope, it was about her denying him legitimacy as a man, a father, and even as a son within the Forrester family. That kind of rejection doesn't just vanish overnight, and Thomas has carried those wounds for years. But lately, we've seen Thomas act like he's above it. He's calmer. He seems more centered, more focused on being a good father to Douglas, and he has taken responsibility in ways he didn't in the past. When people bring up Brooke now, Thomas shrugs her off, insisting he's not worried about her opinions anymore. On the surface, that could be taken as growth. Maybe he's finally moved past the need for Brooke's approval. Maybe he has genuinely realized her opinion doesn't define him. Yet, underneath that calm exterior, longtime viewers know that Thomas is rarely ever as serene as he wants others to believe. If anything, his quiet dismissals could be the perfect mask for a man who is patiently waiting to strike when it will hurt Brooke the most. One key thing to keep in mind is that Thomas has an intense connection to his father, Ridge. That bond drives many of Thomas's actions. Ridge has always been pulled between Brooke and Taylor, and Thomas has used that dynamic to his advantage in the past. Whenever Ridge and Brooke hit rough waters, Thomas has been there nudging his father toward Taylor, arguing that Brooke's selfishness and manipulations are toxic. Right now, Ridge and Brooke are in a relatively stable place, but stability on this show never lasts forever. If Thomas is still harboring resentment, then any sign of weakness between Ridge and Brooke could tempt him to interfere. And if Ridge happens to drift back toward Taylor again, Thomas may see it as poetic justice against Brooke, a way of finally tilting the scales in favor of the family he believes Brooke always undermined. There's also the matter of Thomas's romantic life. He has been more restrained recently, especially after the mess with Hope. But no one can deny that his obsession with Hope was tied to his feelings about Brooke as well. Brooke made it clear she never wanted Thomas anywhere near her daughter, and that only fueled his determination. In Thomas's mind, Brooke wasn't just an obstacle. She was a gatekeeper standing between him and what he wanted most. Even now, whenever Hope shows any compassion or understanding toward Thomas, it feels like a small victory against Brooke's narrative that he's dangerous and untrustworthy. If Thomas is still carrying that chip on his shoulder, then every interaction with Hope could reignite his grudge against Brooke. He might not be openly scheming, but deep down, he could be waiting for the moment when he can throw Brooke's words back in her face by proving her wrong, or, even better, by showing her just how powerless she is to stop him. Of course, Thomas has insisted more than once that he's done with manipulations, that he wants to live a better life. But viewers have been burned before. We've seen him make promises of change only to relapse into darker schemes. The Hope mannequin storyline is the perfect reminder of how far he can fall when his obsession consumes him. While he may not be in that place now, what happens the next time Brooke accuses him of being unstable? What happens the next time she undermines his progress in front of Ridge, or worse, in front of Douglas? Thomas doesn't just want acceptance. He craves validation. And Brooke has never given him that. It wouldn't take much for those old feelings to resurface, leaving Thomas vulnerable to slipping back into plotting mode. Another layer to this is the Forrester family business itself. Brooke has long been entwined in Forrester creations, and Thomas has always seen himself as an heir to the family legacy. He wants his designs to be respected, his vision to shape the company, and his place in the dynasty to be acknowledged. Brooke, however, has often aligned with those who doubt Thomas's stability in leadership roles. Even if she's not directly involved in business decisions, her influence over Ridge and others has kept Thomas from being fully embraced. That professional tension could be another area where Thomas chooses to lash out eventually. If Brooke continues to cast shadows over his career, Thomas might retaliate in subtle but calculated ways, making moves that secure his power while leaving Brooke sidelined. He could justify it as business, but beneath the surface, it would be about payback. And then there's Douglas, perhaps the most sensitive piece of the puzzle. Brooke has openly questioned Thomas's ability to parent responsibly, pointing out his mistakes and even encouraging Hope to take on a bigger role with Douglas. For Thomas, those criticisms hit harder than anything else. Being a good father is central to his identity, and Brooke undermining him in that area feels like the ultimate insult. If Thomas ever feels like Brooke is threatening his bond with Douglas again, it could ignite that grudge he's supposedly buried. A protective father can be dangerous, especially when that father is Thomas Forrester, who already has a history of going to extreme lengths. What makes all of this so intriguing is that Thomas has been trying so hard to appear different lately. He's composed, he's working hard, and he's attempting to rise above old patterns. Maybe this is truly growth. Maybe Brooke's disapproval no longer holds the same power over him. But on a show like The Bold and the Beautiful, characters rarely escape their demons so easily. The writers love to build tension around whether someone has truly changed, and Thomas is the perfect character for that storyline. He's unpredictable, he's layered, and his grudge against Brooke is such a long-running thread that it could be pulled at any moment to create fresh drama. So is Thomas plotting? It's possible he isn't actively scheming right now. Maybe he's genuinely trying to better himself, and he's focusing on his role as a father and a designer. But plotting doesn't always mean dramatic, immediate action. Sometimes plotting looks like patience. It looks like waiting for the right opportunity, the right crack in the foundation, the right moment when striking will do the most damage. If Thomas still feels Brooke wronged him, then it's not a matter of if he'll act, it's a matter of when. And if Brooke lets her guard down, Thomas could surprise everyone with just how deep his grudge still runs. Ultimately, fans are left with a fascinating dilemma. They want to believe Thomas is redeemable, that he's learned from the past, and that he truly can rise above his obsession with revenge. At the same time, they know his darker instincts are never far away. The question of whether he's over his grudge against Brooke or quietly preparing his next move keeps viewers invested, because with Thomas Forrester, the story is never simple. He's a man who thrives in the gray area, where love, hate, ambition, and revenge all blur together. And until he proves otherwise, no one can ever really trust that his grudge against Brooke is gone for good. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.